I am the owner and CEO of Liss Management, and I'm so grateful for MaxWeb and Anna for asking me to present today. Anna and I are close friends, and she's an amazing human. So if you are questioning your relationship with MaxWeb, I can't recommend MaxWeb and the folks at MaxWeb enough. So she asked me to speak today on monetizing your data. So I mostly manage email lists, but I also want to talk today about push and SMS marketing. I think it's some low-hanging fruit that a lot of companies are not monetizing, and I'm going to present some cases today about why you should monetize with that. So I'm going to share my screen here. So one of the common questions I have from my clients is, why do we even want to monetize our data? The great thing about monetizing your data is when you get those customers, you only have to get them one time, and then you can sell to them over and over again, whether it's your stuff or other people's stuff. This money gives you the opportunity for new customer acquisition, paying higher CPAs to your affiliates, paying your bills, or maybe even paying yourself. So these are just some things to think about. So if this is something that's interesting to you, these are some ways to start. Legally, you need to adjust your terms and your legal pages. This is basically a CYA legally. So on those terms and legal pages, you want to say that you're acquiring the email in the purchase process, and that you're going to affiliate market them. The other thing there is, especially on SMS, there's quite a bit of terms that need to go on that page, and most of the providers are happy to help you through that process. Where those are going to live now is what we're going to talk about next. So your email and your SMS opt-ins typically go on your sales page. So when they're completing their credit card information, they're going to check an SMS box there. There's some legality things there with what those things must say. The email thing is not so much. Just really watch yourself specifically with the EU countries. But most of your payment processors are going to help you with that. Push then typically goes on the first upsell or thank you page. I have a few clients who are actually putting those push opt-ins on the actual sales page lender. So we're picking up all those prospects as well. They haven't seen a dip in the conversion rate, but again, you're going to hear me say this a lot today. You want to test all of this. So test, because just because it works for somebody else doesn't always mean it's going to work for you. So for email specifically, these are my three favorite tools: Maripost, Entreport, and then Campaign Refinery. There are more choices than just these three. These just happen to be my favorite three. Whatever you choose, specifically make sure that the ESP that you're looking to use allows affiliate marketing. The reason being is you'll get signed into a contract. You decide you want to monetize your data with your own or other people's offers. If they don't allow it, they'll kick you off, and then it creates problems, right? For SMS specifically, I really do like Entreport's SMS tool. So that platform is really great because you can do email and SMS there. I've also heard really great things about Attentive. I can tell you about 10 that you shouldn't choose, but I'm not going to go into that today. So do your homework. And again, regardless, whatever platform you choose for SMS, make sure they allow affiliate marketing. For push data, my favorite is OneSignal. I also hear really great things about Pushnami. Again, whatever platform you choose for your push marketing, make sure it allows affiliate marketing. So once you have all of those three things integrated, I want to talk about what your first week looks like. You're going to basically have all of these programs on an autoresponder series. So at sign up, at the point of purchase, you immediately tell the customer how they're getting their purchase, reassure them that they made the right choice, and direct them on where to find that receipt if it's not in that actual autoresponder. Doing those three things and getting them an email and push and in the receipt, email push and an SMS is really going to reassure that those customers that they made the right purchase. So then after about 24 to 48 hours, if your product is physical, they should get a shipping notification with tracking. Again, if you can push that out on email, push, and SMS, it's going to work in your favor. And then from day 1 to day 7, this is going to be very content heavy, explaining how to use the purchase, whatever they bought, and giving them content that's related to that. So you're just really making sure that they're in a happy place and they know how to contact you and how to use what they bought. So after the first week or two here, so those were all in autoresponders. This is where somebody like me usually takes the reins. While I can do those other things, most of the time, this is where I start my magic. So this is where I start email broadcasting daily. So how often to do that is really up to each client, but I find that most lists can handle 2 email broadcasts per day. All of those people in the autoresponders would be excluded. And then I usually email those 12 hours apart. So like an 8 a.m. email and an 8 p.m. email. What to send is part common sense and part art. So these are some things to think about. What offers are trending in the marketplace? The folks at MaxWeb can totally tell you in this niche, here's the top 10 offers. You need to at least test all of those. What's happening globally? So I'm thinking back to COVID here. At the height of COVID, mask offers did great to every single list I managed. It didn't matter if they came in on health or relationship. Everybody needed a mask all of a sudden, so they were buying them. What niche did your customers come in on? So if they came in on, say, a diabetes book, they're probably going to buy some diabetes supplements. And then all the other things that are associated with diabetes. So they might have high blood pressure. They might have problem. They need to exercise, so they need programs for that, or how to eat. So just think about things that surround the niche they came in on to that vertical. And then what are their interests? So this is usually somewhat age appropriate, but I find like if we're talking about men's relationship lists, they probably like weightlifting. They probably like testosterone type offers. They probably like health supplements. And then randomly, like that same person usually likes financial offers. So just because they came in on one vertical doesn't mean they're not interested in these other things. So what I try to do is think of the avatar. So if it's like my dad's age, what do people like my dad like to do and what do they like to buy? It's usually a really good place to start. Anna asked me to talk about this next slide. So specific spam triggers. I do want to preface this with every single niche has its own spam trigger words. And again, not one size fits all. Sometimes you can use one of these spam trigger words and the results are so exponential that the spam filtering, it still does better than it not being there. So you again have to test. So sometimes it's not as cut and dry as it should seem, but these are some, especially in the health niche, these words I'm fixing to say, pretty much they're going to get, they're going to trigger some spam filters. I see free all the time. You can literally put an apostrophe in there or dashes or spaces or periods and it would inbox better. Weight is another one. Pounds is another one. And the really simple fix for that is to use LBS. Viagra, sex, vaccine, COVID, all of those words tend to get spam filtered. And I'm sure just looking at it, you can see why. Those people that are actually spamming tend to use those words. So that's why that happens. For SMS broadcasts, so this is again 2 weeks post-purchase. They're out of the autoresponder series. Now they're going to start to get weekly SMS. So I find that SMS is best once per week. It's the most jarring form of communication that most companies use. Like, you can ignore emails, but it's hard to ignore a text message. Some lists, every once in a while, I'll do a second SMS per week. And I try to do something different. So if I sent a sale text and I'm needing to get something else out, I'll try to make that other thing content. So like a webinar or the new blog post. I tend to stick to internal offers and special content. It's not cut and dry to do that. However, I just find that that's what makes the most money, and it's expensive to send text messages. They're not cheap. With that being said, because of the cost, I tend to source my SMS ideas on winning subject lines and on winning push. Both of those things are far cheaper to test on until you're bringing it across to SMS. And again, the other thing that really always works well is internal sales. So it's about to be Veterans Day here, or Black Friday. Those SMSs are going to probably make the most revenue. Push is, so SMS is the most legally binding form of marketing. Push is the opposite. There is like hardly any legality around push notifications right now. And they're also pretty cheap. So this is a really low-hanging fruit that a lot of people aren't doing. So push is a volume game. I have clients that send up to 10 pushes a day. It is dependent on list size because you can get kind of buried in the labor on that, as you can imagine. So I recommend starting with 1 per day and working your way up. Internal offers, again, tend to do best on push. So if you have a really deep internal offer arsenal, lots of products, push is going to be amazing for you. But I have had affiliate offers go well here, especially if there's an obvious tie-in with what most of your push customers come in on. Because of the high frequency, though, push makes great testing ground for winning subject lines to pull across to your email broadcast, and they make excellent testing grounds for SMS, like we just talked about. So what to expect? Why do all this? It's all about the money, right? So this is some of my actual data here. These are from customer subscribers. Typically, my clients make $2.30 per text sub on average per month. They make $1.50 per month per active email subscriber on average, and then 6 cents per push per sub on average per month. All of those are per month. I didn't put it on there in writing. So when you add all those up, right, that's an extra, what, $3.86 per customer per month. So that gives you a lot of money to add on to your CPAs and to pay whatever you need. I'm going to go through now, like, just some case studies about how much money we're talking about once all these subs start to add up. So this particular client had a list that was not being mailed at all. If a mutual friend of ours said, you need to talk to Liss, you need to talk to Liss, you need to talk to Liss. All right, so now we're going to talk through some different case studies about how much money we're talking about. It like a $2.30 a subscriber doesn't sound like a lot, but whenever you start doing the exponential addition of subscribers, now that money really adds up. So this is a case study of me versus nothing. So this offer owner literally was not using his list at all. We had a mutual friend, literally had to ask him 3 times to talk to me. And in the first year I took that list, we made $708,000. So that's how much money we're talking. And that's just the email list. We were not doing SMS or push at that time. This is case study 2, which is me versus just someone that's in marketing. So she owned a marketing firm, but she wasn't in the affiliate marketing space. So her last full month before she left, she made $32,896 from this list. And then the very next month I took it over. So this is May, it made $98,000. I do want to point out that what she was doing here, this $32,000 a month, this is something that anyone who's watching this video could do. She was literally just throwing offers at her list, at this list that seemed to fit. What I did notice was she wasn't keeping very good data. I literally had to mine all the data of how much it had made. So she really probably didn't have a good idea of how much the list was making and what were the big needle mover offers. This is me versus someone who I would say is trying their best. So I took over this list. It was being mailed every other day by someone who was in the affiliate space, but they weren't a list manager. So it's like just someone on your team that you pulled into this role. There wasn't, again, much in the way of records. This is something that I see over and over again. So they made about $1,500 in April before I took that list. So the first 30 days of May, again, we made $5,000, same exact list. That list later went on to hit number 1 on ClickBank, and last year they made $718,000 on that list. This is another common thing that I inherit is the offer owner who, God bless them, they try to fill every role. So the offer owner was trying to manage the list. They were mailing maybe every other day, mostly for friends in our space that would randomly ask them to mail for them. And they were making about $300 a week. The very first week I took this list on, we made $4,800. In 2019, they made $1.6 million from the list because one of their offers hit number 1 on ClickBank that year. So if we go to the before they hit number 1 on ClickBank, they were making $1,200 per month. And then as soon as I took the list, they made $135,000 that following month. This is me versus another list manager, and this is actually the story of how I got started in this industry. In 2016, our list manager quit out of the blue with no notice. I was the person on the team that the offer owners put on problems because I'm a fix-it person. So they just gave me the list and said, figure it out. So the previous list manager who did this professionally was making about $10,000 per month on that list. And the first month I took over, we made $170,000. I'm just going through all 5 of these case studies. It's not that, I mean, I'm not anything special. I just have SOPs in place. I have really good ways to keep up with the data. But the thing I want you to take home with is how much money we're talking about your data is worth. So these are some common pitfalls. If you decide, you know what, I need to do something, this is the things you need to watch out for. Number 1 is not getting all your customers or leads into your platforms. Every subscriber is worth money. Customers are 5 times more valuable than leads. Cart abandonments are also worth a lot of money. You should be collecting these and putting them through an autoresponder series to sell them. Usually people have to see things 3-4 times before they'll buy. The next thing I commonly see is not sending enough or even at all. So even lists that are 1,000 customers really matter over time. Your list is going to be used to whatever you do regularly. So if I have inspired you to mail more, do it gradually. You can't go from mailing once a year to mailing every day. You've got to work your way up. And then get on a schedule. Whatever the plan is to move forward, you need to get a schedule and you need to stick to it or give it to someone who will. The next common pitfall is not keeping separate stats outside your platforms. I mean, you're kidding yourself if you think you're keeping up with it in your mind and all these logins and then not changing it up. You should be changing the time sent, whether or not the text or the email or the push has images, the various offer types, the different content types, the links, so like long wordy emails or short emails. All those things need to be changing regularly. Poor offer and copy selection. So you need to consider sending all of your own offers, every single one, even your upsells are separate offers. Not sending content, not sending out affiliate offers, and not sharing your other channels. So if you have this huge email list and you want to get onto the SMS train or the push train, you can push those ways to sign up across in emails, or vice versa. If you have this big text SMS list, you can push how to sign up for your email list, as well as your Facebook, your YouTube, all those other ways that you interact with your clients. Make sure that you're always tracking by TID or sub IDs. Sometimes the money that comes in will come from unrelated accounts, and the TID or the sub ID is the only way that you're going to know where it came from. And then some offers have rebill revenue, and it adds up significantly over time. And again, the only way to know that is by TID or sub ID. The next one is a big one. So common pitfall is poor list hygiene. You can't mail or text or send pushes across to these people forever, especially on email. You're not going to get into the inbox. So you want to keep those open rates high. The opposite thing of that is just as bad. So over segmentation, overthinking who's getting what. So the wider that you cast your net, within reason, again, we have to keep those open rates up, but the more likely you are going to have buyers. That's really pretty much sums it up. If you have questions or want my opinion on anything, I'm totally happy to help answer questions. I'm on Facebook, Lissgram, Instagram, Lissgram. I'm on Skype, again, Lissgram. So I will also add some contact info here that MaxWeb can share. I hope that what I've shared has been something that you can take back and you can implement today. And I hope you have a wonderful day.